Welcome to our exploration of Genesis and science. Today we ask, did God really create the universe in 7 days? We'll delve into the hidden truths between science and Genesis. Genesis and science may not contradict each other, they might complete each other. Have you ever wondered how both can be true? The Bible says God created the world in 6 days, while science claims the universe is nearly 14 billion years old. Are these ideas in conflict, or are we misunderstanding Genesis? Consider the builder analogy. Imagine building a house. The builder starts outside, laying the foundation, then steps inside to finish. Creation was similar. God, outside time and space, created the universe, then entered to organize and prepare it for life. Understanding Genesis 1:1-3. Genesis 1:1 says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." The Hebrew verb bara, created, is in simple past tense, meaning the writer didn't specify when it happened. It could have been billions of years ago. Then verse 2 says, "And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep." This describes a lifeless, unformed planet, not yet ready for life. Next comes something powerful. "And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters." This is the moment God enters his creation, to prepare it for order and life. And then verse 3 begins, "And God said, 'Let there be light.'" That's the start of the first day. To understand when a day starts and when a day ends, you need to understand the rhythm of the days used in Genesis. From verse 3 onward, every day follows the same pattern. "And God said," then creation happens, and it ends with, "And there was evening and morning, the first day." This style continues through the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth days, all following the same rhythm. But notice, the first day starts only when God says, "And God said, 'Let there be light.'" That means the events of verses 1 and 2 happened before the first day, aligning perfectly with scientific understanding that the universe existed long before Earth's transformation began. The 3 acts of creation highlight the meaning of Bara, used only 3 times in Genesis chapter 1. It marks the creation of the universe, biological life, and spiritual life. Genesis shows 3 unique creative acts, aligning with science's view of progressive complexity. The Hebrew word bara, created, doesn't appear every day. It's used only 3 times in Genesis 1. First, in verse 1, God created the heavens and the earth. That's the creation of the entire universe, space, time, and matter. Second, in verse 21, God created the great sea creatures and every living thing that moves. That's the beginning of biological life. Third, in verse 27, God created man in his own image. That's the creation of spiritual life, human beings with moral awareness. Everything else uses another Hebrew word, Asah, meaning made or fashioned. So, Genesis shows not constant creation, but 3 unique creative acts, followed by organization and preparation, just as science observes progressive complexity through cosmic and biological history. Science and ancient universe. Modern astronomy confirms the universe's beginning with the Big Bang. Time, space, and matter emerged, aligning with Genesis. Over billions of years, stars and galaxies formed, fitting the Genesis description of Earth's early state. When we read Genesis chapter 1:1-2 carefully, it fits perfectly with what science reveals. A universe that began long ago, later shaped and filled with life by Elohim, God. The pattern of days and divine order reveals a new level of order and purpose. The first 3 days prepare the environments: light, sky, land, and sea. The next 3 days fill them: sun, moon, stars, fish, birds, animals, and humans. It's a poetic and powerful pattern, showing that God is both creator and organizer. Genesis isn't a lab report, it's a revelation of divine order. The ancient Hebrews understood this not as a stopwatch timeline, but as God's work in phases, leading creation from chaos to completeness. Understanding Yom in Genesis. The Hebrew word Yom means day, but can also mean a long period. In Genesis, each day marks a divine creative period, not a calendar day, aligning with the idea of Eros in God's creative work. Understanding evening and morning. In Genesis, evening symbolizes the conclusion of a phase, morning, the emergence of the next. Together, they mark transitions, not the sun's setting and rising, describing God's orderly creation over epochs. The seventh day, still continuing. Notice the seventh day doesn't end with evening and morning. It never ended, symbolizing God's ongoing rest and sustaining power. We live in this seventh day, with the universe expanding and life unfolding. That is why Psalms 95:11 says, "So I declared on oath in my anger, they shall never enter my rest." In conclusion, Psalm 19:1, the heavens declare the glory of God. Genesis and science are not enemies, but two languages describing one truth. If you enjoyed this exploration, please like, subscribe, and share to show that faith and science walk together.